Alrighty. I think we're up and running and everything is well. Let's just see if we can get this up and running and then we'll transition over to me. Hello, hello, welcome. Let's see if we are working or well. If anyone is there, give me a thumbs up. You know the drill. Give me a wave. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you can see and hear me. Done something a little bit different today, so I'm hoping I'm hoping everything is running well. Let's go pull that over there. Howdy, howdy, howdy. You an Aussie? I sure am, Max. I sure am. Done the most Australian thing an Australian could do yesterday, and I got bitten by a whitetail spider on my foot. Classic. Absolute classic. Like the fourth time I've been bitten by one of those spiders. Absolute pain. Hey Jan, how you going? All good and clear. Awesome, Carlos. Mr. Consistent. Good to see you. How you doing, Holman? I hope you're well. I hope your Sunday Arvo is treating you well. No, it's not Sunday. Wow, I'm well off. I hope your Thursday Arvo is treating you well. Worthless man, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. How we doing, guys? Nice and rowdy this morning. It's good to see. We got heaps around here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whereabouts in Australia are you from, Max? That's the fourth. That's the fourth time I've been bitten by a whitetail. The first two times it put me in hospital. The third time I was just like, I'm over it. I can't be bothered going to hospital. I'm just gonna cop it. And then I've been bitten last night. I'm pretty sure it's a whitetail bite. It looks the same. It feels the same as a whitetail bite. So I'm just copping it at the moment, and we'll see how we go. You're from Melbourne? Yeah, awesome. Me too. Me too. I'm in the northeastern suburbs of Melbourne. Good morning, Thabani. Good to see you. Welcome. For you guys that aren't Australian, a whitetail is just a spider. Actually, they range in size, but it's a spider that can give you a bit of a nasty bite. They usually hide in your clothes or in your bed. Is where they're most commonly found, which is just perfect. Perfect, really, because where else would you want to be bitten? You're from Blackrock? Lovely, lovely. All right. Anyway, let's get diving in today. The bit I want to discuss, we're going to get a little bit deep. We're going to get more on an emotional level than what we usually do. Of course, we're still going to look for some opportunities. I am trading today. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good, despite my foot. I'm looking pretty good. Don't tell my missus that she's petrified. Yeah, I know. Yeah, my missus is the same. But I don't know. Some reason they just always grab me 4 times. 4 times in like 3 years I've been bitten by one. But apparently once they bite you once, the other spiders can recognize the venom or the bite because I've got a full scar. I don't think I'm gonna be able to show you on my arm. Nah, it's not gonna come up on the camera, but I've got a pretty nasty scar. You can actually see where like both fangs went in and it just swelled up. And that time when it bit me there, my whole arm was like I look like Popeye. I look like Popeye, and I had to go on an IV drip to bring it down. But yeah, their bites aren't fun. They're not fun. Hmm. Anyway, before we scare everyone off talking about spider bites, let's get into trading. Let's get into what we're looking at today. What I want to chat about. If anyone saw the Discord announcement today, there's a couple different things. We're gonna have a look to trade live. We're gonna have a look at the opportunities. Early on today, I caught US dollar Japanese yen. It's caught my eye. We are sitting near yesterday's high of the day, given the late US dollar news last night. It hasn't retraced much, so we may see some fading opportunities in there. And then moving onwards, I want to talk about a trading edge. I was talking to a trader about trading edge the other day, and they didn't actually understand what an edge was. And I had the same I had the same thing. For a long time, I was asked, "What's my edge? What's my edge?" And I'd say something, but realistically, I was like, quietly and embarrassmently, I was like, "What the hell is an edge? Like, what is an edge?" So today, I want to talk about that in case there's anyone feeling that shadow that I felt a little while ago, so I can kind of explain what an edge is, so you can get an understanding of what your edge is. And how to move forward in that. There's a couple of different spots in where an edge sits, so we're going to touch on that. And then we're also going to talk about something I've noticed on the Aussie dollar data recently. We're seeing, I want to draw some conclusions together. I'm going to do exactly what school has always taught us not to, and we're going to jump to conclusions, which is always fun. But we're going to see where those conclusions take us. And I actually want it's going to be a joint exercise, so I want you guys to be involved in that as well. My eyes have been a little bit of a pain today, so I am going to wear glasses. So if at any point your eyes are quite sore today, so going to have to happen. You might just see a bit of a lighting reflection. Tell you what, I'll go ahead and turn that off. There we go. That'll be all right. Right, we'll run with that. I heard everything in Australia is out to kill you. Bite with fangs marks, badass, but my nightmare. Not badass. No, it's look. It's weird. I don't think Max would agree with me. We look at everything like up north, so like North Queensland and everything. That's where like your deadlies are, but the reality of the fact is just everything's bigger up there. Apart from the whole crocodile thing, everything's just bigger up there, but they're not really deadly. They'll give you a nasty bite, but they're not deadly. All the deadly things are the redbacks and whatnot that are hiding down here. But yeah, bit annoying. I'm just trying to sleep in my bed and I got a spider biting me. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's all right. We get on with it. It's not a major issue. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look. I'm looking at the Forex Factory calendar this morning, but I'm going to move back to the Aussie dollar momentarily. The first thing I want to do is do our morning scan. Look for those opportunities. We're in Melbourne, so it's a bit colder and safer. See, Max, that's the impression I had, right? A little bit colder, a little bit we don't get as much snakes. We don't get the size of the spiders is quite remarkably different to what other people get and what we get, but we actually get all the deadlies. So they get the really big snakes, the really big spiders, the really big whatever, but not the deadly ones. We get the small ones, but the deadly ones. So we're kind of just like, well, okay, great. That's fun. I think I'd probably go up against something big rather than like a huntsman. Like I'm not scared of a huntsman, and they're the size of your palm. Like I would let a huntsman sit in the top corner and be like, "Hey, how you going?" But we don't have crocs. That's true. We don't have crocs. Clayton, I'm very well. How are you, mate? Good to see you. All right. Sorry for everyone who's getting bored of the snakes and the spiders chat. Let's get talking into trading. So, US dollar, Japanese yen. Obviously, US dollar moved a lot late last night. We had, I can't remember exactly what it was. The Philly Fed Manufacturing Index extremely beat expectations. So we were obviously expecting still a bit of a negative index when it comes down to manufacturing on how we thought that was going to go, how we thought the manufacturing sector was going to go. We were expecting improvement. Pretty significant improvement from 12.3 up to negative 4.9, which obviously is a good improvement. We absolutely smashed it, and we've gone from 12.3 to 6.2, which is just remarkable. Like that data is huge, which unsurprisingly has driven the US dollar through the roof late. Good day, Tinnis. Good to see you. It drew the US dollar through the roof, up 50 pips late last night, which is just incredible, really. Which has put us in a fun situation. Because sitting here on US dollar, Japanese yen, we're in this area whereas if we can get above this top, I'm not expecting too much volatility this morning, especially it being a Friday. We're going to keep an eye on National Core CPI at 930. That's fine. Don't think that's going to move us much. We're going to keep an eye on the Nikkei because Nikkei does drive this a lot around 10 a.m. But by that time, it will be coming to the end of the stream anyway. So we haven't moved much this morning. We're about 7 pips, and we usually get, we've traded US dollar, Japanese yen plenty of times. We usually get like 30 to 40 pips. So in order to really get in this trade, I'm going to need to see some higher levels. I'm going to need to see us like up here. But what I do really like about it is look how long ago the recent move was. We've got a bit of resistance up in here, which could be our first selling point if we can match it with that bit of resistance. If not, we've got it all the way up here, but I don't think we're going to manage to get all the way up there early this morning. So While it does look for a great little scalping and fading opportunity, because we haven't moved much so far, nah, I'm not loving it too much. Realistically, if we can get like a pull down like this and then a pop up and then a pull down, but to get all of that done by 11 a.m. in the next 2 hours, I'm not too sure that's going to happen. But we'll keep an eye on it, right? Hi, Conrad. It's good to see you, mate. US dollar Swiss franc looking very similar. I don't like the idea of trying to fade this right now. Solely because I'm quite. Actually, that looks better than US dollar Japanese yen, I'm not gonna lie. I've changed my mind. Add that to the watch list. Not touching CAD. New Zealand dollar's already broke the low. We do have a little bit of news expected with the New Zealand dollar coming out soon. So we're gonna wait and see with this one. I'm not gonna look to enter a position just yet. However, it has already broken yesterday's low early this morning with a nice 10 pip push sitting in this area. If you are looking to trade the strategy, these are around your scale-in points. I definitely think we can pull back up into this area, but we'll keep an eye on that because we have already broken yesterday's low very early this morning, which is promising signs. New Zealand news isn't out till 1 p.m. actually, and where did we finish NZX? Where did we finish yesterday on the indices? We dropped down very low, so yeah, okay. So New Zealand dollar, US dollar actually could look good for an early position. Quite like it actually. I'm gonna open up the trading platform. I didn't already have it up, but I'm gonna look. New Zealand dollar, US dollar is looking kind of hot. Kind of hot. I'm not entering yet. Please keep that in mind. Don't just buy blindly. I do want to scan a little bit more. I'm just gonna do it quickly, just so I know I'm not entering a position and it being the worst position available. Yeah, New Zealand dollar's looking mighty keen for a pop, but you can see the US dollar, like how strongly it's closed down at the bottom. Now, Euro US dollar, I had bias early from Monday morning that we were going to go negative pretty much all week, so I was only looking for sell opportunities on the euro, and it looks like it has done exactly that. The euro is so weak at the moment. Wow, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar's moving this morning. Dollar Japanese yen, Aussie dollar CAD. Okay, New Zealand dollar, US dollar is looking like place to be. It is, it is. You're short Euro Japanese yen, looking okay for you, Jordan. Okay, sorry. CAD Japanese yen resistance, sitting at resistance. What time frame are you trading at? You mean like sitting here to go higher? Okay, I see you. I see what you're talking about. Wouldn't expect too much volatility. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. Gonna dive into those in just a moment, guys. Sorry, let me just sort out my trading platform, get me on New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and get in this position before it's too late. So I will get into everything. Thank you for all the suggestions, though. I'm loving this. Let's have a look at where our order can be placed. This is screaming at me, to be honest. Just ran. Just ran. That's okay. Okay, I'm looking to get below this low. Let's get in around here. Let's go with a little bit wider of a stop, and let's go with a little bit of risk. Little bit of risk. I'm going to aim for something like this, first position, okay? Have to buy limit in at 62435. 62435 is where we're sitting at. Let's have a look. 2252. So what are we risking here? Yeah. Okay, so 0.33%, 0.33% of my R. Okay, so whatever you risk, let's say it's $100. Usually, let's say you usually risk $100. I am now risking 0.33% of $100. So I'm risking 0.33% of my R. Sorry, 33% of my R. So let's say your overall risk is 0.25%. I'm risking 33% of your 0.25% in this first position, which gives me more than enough room to be able to scale in and still only risk my max lot. But I think we may have missed the opportunity. It did bounce under here. And as you can see, it's kind of running now. So we'll keep an eye on it. 12 pips. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Stephen K. Forex, good to see you. Hello. All right. Sorry. CAD Japanese yen is at resistance. That's the call we've made, okay? And I'm assuming you're talking about this kind of trend line resistance level here, which you are correct. Remember, however, the session we are in currently. No volatility. There's no CAD news. There's no Japanese yen news. At least till 10 a.m. when the Nikkei is going to open up. We're not going to get much movement in here. So if you're looking for a competitive bounce, a volatile bounce to try and scalp, it's not going to arrive, okay? It's not going to happen. We just don't have the volume. Never say never, but realistically, it's not going to happen. So if you're looking for that break, retest, now push up, it might happen, but it won't happen until, I reckon, 6 hours from now, if not further. It might be a little while before we get up there. So we're going to sit in here for a little bit. Then the Nikkei is going to open up and this is going to move wherever the Nikkei wants to send it. And then once the Nikkei's open up, then you'll have the European markets and everything kind of reacting to that. And then you'll start seeing the movement that you'll want to see. But for at least a few hours, I think we're going to be sitting here for a little bit on CAD Japanese yen. Then next, your short Euro Japanese yen. Is it looking good for you, Jordan? Well, that depends. Why are you short? What time frame are you shorting? And what is your fundamental bias on shorting Euro Japanese yen? I will go through that when you respond to that. New Zealand US dollar got bull divs all? What do you mean? What do you want about Max? What about GU or EU? So, Great British Pound US dollar I marked because it's right the way down there. Setting very similar to US dollar Japanese yen, right? Now, the only reason I'm a little skeptical of trying to scalp underneath here and fade the move is because I'm really bearish the pound at the moment. Bullish US dollar, bearish the pound. So like fundamentally, I'm like, yeah, short it. Which I mean, look at how it dropped here. It looks like there's many. I know there's news involved in here, but this moved a lot. And you can see the way it's been trending over the past week. I think there's a lot of people out there that are joining me in that bias, and we can see how that's unfolding in the price action here. Okay, the Bank of England come out and it said they're expecting a recession and the recession to last, I think it was 3 quarters or 4 quarters that they've come out and said that and openly admitting that, yeah, recession's coming, which has obviously made everyone go, well, I don't want to touch the pound anytime soon, myself included. And we're seeing major sell-offs across the pound. So right now I'm not really looking to fade any breaks under because given how bullish we are on the US dollar and how bearish we are on the pound, I know we're trading short term. I just don't like it. Euro US dollar, very similar situation. Very bearish euro, very bullish US dollar. I don't love the idea. So US dollar Japanese yen I was thinking about more because I'm kind of neutral on the Japanese yen. It could go bullish, it could go bearish. I'm very neutral sitting there. Whereas, excuse me, when it comes down to the euro and the pound, I'm very bearish on both of those pairs. You got CAD Japanese yen last night, also for a buy on the move up. I'm in the States, so I have to wait for a while. Yeah, exactly. Euro Japanese yen short from supply zone, and it retraced to the 50% fib. Okay. Euro Japanese yen. Euro Japanese yen. What time frame are you trading? What time frame are we looking at here, Tinnis? Like, have you? I'm assuming your fib is drawn up like here, right? Because we're sitting around the 50 there. Realistically, on your Euro Japanese yen position here, to get kind of any movement early on, you're gonna want a really negative Nikkei. Wow, you're gonna want a negative Nikkei open. Yesterday it supplied it. You are going to want a negative Nikkei, which could happen, right? We're kind of sitting here. We jumped. We filled this gap. Are we coming down to fill this gap? Maybe. It definitely could happen. And you can see yesterday, like what happens when we have a negative Nikkei open. You have a negative Nikkei open. The Japanese yen gains power. Therefore, with the Japanese yen's gaining power, the euro is going to go down against the Japanese yen. Yeah? So that's kind of what happened there. Whereas the other way, if we have a bullish Nikkei open, Japanese yen loses power and it goes the other way. So if we get a really bearish Nikkei open early on, I think you will see an increase in strength in the Japanese yen and therefore this price moving towards the downside. If it goes the other way, I'm not too sure. 1 hour time frame. Yeah, so yeah, you're looking at that 50% retrace. I get it. I don't mind. Like I'm really bearish euro right now. I'm all for shorting the euro all week. All week I've been all for shorting the euro, and look how it's performed here. It's just got nothing but. But fundamentally, I'm all for shorting the euro right now. I'm also all for shorting the pound too. US dollar's just been remarkably strong for the US dollar, which is that's good because you get the buyers for it. That if that can get lower, if we can get around here. Thanks, Jordan. No worries at all. Happy to help. Look, I'm never going to say yes or no to a position you're in, right? Because you have your own strategy, you have your own system, and no one ever knows, right? No one ever knows if this is going to go whoop, if this is going to sit here like this, or if this is going to go whoop. There's probability. There's probability of one of these happening over the other one, but no one knows. No one knows. Anyone out there, I've said this plenty of times, if anyone out there is claiming to know or claim that they knew something was going to happen, they either have inside information, which if they did have inside information, they wouldn't be boasting about that because it's highly illegal, or they're delusional. 9 times out of 10, it's usually delusional. Okay, this market, no one ever knows where anything's going to go unless you have inside information. Okay? So if anyone ever says they knew or they did it, they might have placed their bets in probability and it worked out, fantastic, but they did not know. They did not know. Okay, it was just a probability factor. So I don't want to say yes or no to anyone's trades. I just want to ensure that you're confident in your analysis and you understand what your edge is. Good segue, because we're going to talk about what is an edge. So it's I'm never going to say yes, no, don't take that trade, do take that trade, risk less, risk more, because the market could do anything the market wants to do. Okay, end of the day, no one knows. It's just all a matter of probability and it's all a matter of edge. So as long as you're confident in your analysis, you know your strategy and you've back tested your strategy, anyone else's opinion shouldn't matter too much. But as a whole, I like the idea of shorting the euro. I like the idea of shorting the euro. So that's fine. Retail sales data coming out later for the pound. It's expected to be weak. Probably already factored in. Realistically, even if it does come out weak, I don't think we're going to move much. You can see how much we moved yesterday. If anything, we might even get some profit taking on some negative data there. So you might see a bit of a bounce in the pound later today, even though we get negative data. Solely because we've moved a lot. We've moved a lot yesterday. I mean, from the highs yesterday down to the lows, 160 pips on GU. We've moved a lot. €1 US dollar in a downtrend day one. I think it will make new lows soon. Could do. I mean, it made new lows last night, no? Yeah, like massively. Another one that moved a lot. When you've got such a fundamental bias of really negative currency and really positive currency and you put them together, this thing just moves. This thing just moves. And that's why it's so important to have a fundamental bias, in my opinion. You're looking at breakdown here. Yeah. 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 Will we get below parity? Maybe. Maybe. Like, this is a bit of the bounce of parity, right? This is the bounce of parity. It broke all the news. The moment it breaks news, the move's done. All the beginners get in the market and they lose their money, and the experts take it for a run. That was kind of the bull run bounce of parity. And now we're making a decent move back down. So are we going to get a double bottom and then a push, finally a break of this negative trend line that we've been sitting under for a while? If we do get a break of this negative trend line, is there going to be some absolute swing opportunities here? If you've got any long-term holders, and I mean long-term holders like for months and months, probably pull maybe a 10 to 11% return if we do manage to get this break. But the only way we're going to do that is if the euro starts looking up. And right now, I can't see anything that's telling me the euro is going to start looking up. Just personally, I mean, there's nothing out there that's saying, hey, Jordan, buy euro. So why won't this just keep moving down? Okay, Trader's Edge. Trader's Edge. Who wants to tell me what an edge is? Can someone come out and tell me what a trading edge is? Take a shot. We're not judging, we're not bullying, we're not anything like that. I want you to just be honest and tell me what you think a trading edge is. Even better, explain to me what your trading edge is. Does anyone know what their trading edge is? And if you don't know, say, I don't know what a trading edge is. I want honesty here. We're gonna get deep. We've got no egos in this chat. We don't do egos here at the 5ers. We don't do that. We're all achieving the same goals. We're all on the same path, and we're all trying to achieve the same thing. Egos are just pain in the ass things that get in the way. Okay. So let's talk trading edge. Who wants to have the mic? Someone come up and tell me what they think a trading edge is, or whether they know what it is, or even what their trading edge is. Can anyone share that information? I'm going to take a drink of water while you guys think about it. Unknown? Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Have you heard the saying trading edge before? Has anyone heard the saying what's your edge? The chat goes quiet. The mysterious chat goes quiet. Here we go. It's picked up. I've only been doing for almost a year. I'm pretty new to this. I honestly don't know. That's perfectly fine, Stephen. Thank you for being honest. Yes, many times, Dennis, you've heard about it. Yep. A learned insight that helps better predict a trade. Doofy. Okay. Like a dictionary definition. Anything like a trading system that can give you an advantage of other market participants. Okay, it's good. Okay, now can anyone share with me what their edge is? Newfie Trader, what's your edge? Stephen, both Stevens. No. First Stephen, you don't know what an edge is, so don't worry about that. Ignore that. Stephen McKenzie, what's your edge? A strategy that gives you a higher probability of a win. Yep, getting there. I'm relying on my trading system to give me the best probability. Okay. So, trading edge, it's a funny one. Following a process that produces positive expectancy. Trading edge can be anything. That's the beauty of it. It can be yourself on how you manage positions. It can be extra bits of information that you gather that other people don't have. It can be your trading strategy as a whole. So the best way, and this is for the guys that don't know, or maybe the guys that do know, but they just want a little bit more explanation on what the edge is. A trading edge is when you bend probability into your favor. It is the one thing that makes you profitable. It is the one thing that gives you better odds. So, for example, if we go to a casino and we walk up to the roulette table, okay, roulette table. Anyone ever played roulette before? You've got red, you've got black, you've got numbers, you've got whatever it is, okay? There's a 47 or 48.1 something around there percent chance of it landing on red, a 48.1% chance of it landing on black, and then like 2% chance of it landing on the green zeros that they put in the end. Now, when you start thinking about edge, the casino's edge is they added those 2 zeros at the end. So there's no 50-50 bet. There's just 2 zeros on the end. And that tiny little edge that they added means that anyone who's betting on the roulette table, the odds are always against them. There's always a bigger chance that they lose than what they win. Okay? And that's their edge. That's their edge. They added that one little number on that table, and it gives them a higher probability. So the longer a person bets at that table, the bigger the chance that the casino wins. Now, if we turn that back, exactly, the more you play, the more you lose, because they've tilted the edge in their favor. So, if we bring that back to trading, it's the same thing. Our edge needs to be the same way the casino does it. It's that one little thing that tilts the probability of you winning in your favor. So the longer you play, the more you win. It's not a matter of winning every single time. It's just a matter of getting a 60% chance of winning. The more you play, the more you win. Same thing in trading. So that's what your edge is. Your edge is that little thing that you can turn so all the odds are in your favor. So you can comfortably sit back and trade long enough to the point you'll reap the profits. Now, understanding your edge is so important because understanding your edge allows you to be in the market longer. Once you accept the fact that your edge only gives you a 60% win rate, when you're hitting all these big losses at 40%, loss, whatever it might be, you know that that's going to happen. You understand that's going to happen because your odds are 60-40. But you also can remain disciplined enough to stay in the market long enough for your edge to be able to bear fruit. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today, because it's very important you understand what your edge is. And it might not be obvious. It might not be obvious. If it's not really obvious what your edge is, there's a good chance you don't have an edge. And there's a good chance if you don't know what your edge is, that your account's profit and loss report probably reflects that you don't have that edge. So we need to find it. We need to find that one thing that bends probability into your favor. Now, I don't have just one thing, all right? I've got a couple different things that go on, but my biggest edge is looking at fundamental bias prior to trading. Okay, I like to have a fundamental idea of what's going on in the market. So when I do go into my trades, I'm only going to trade in line with my fundamental bias. That is what I consider my biggest edge. Now, on top of that, I look to add to the edge using a range of different things. I look, to fade the volatility. I look to build my trading plan until probability is more in my favor. So my edge is a couple different things, but my main one is having that fundamental bias prior to day trading. Realistically, does it actually help me that much? Not that much. But just that slight amount to the point my win rate has seen massive improvement since trading that. So that's what I consider my biggest edge. But I do look to build that up a little bit more. So I want you to sit back and really ask yourself, what's your edge? What's going to make you profitable? You can have a strategy, okay, I short on the trend line bounce or something like that. Well, yeah, but what's actually the edge there? Like, how is that going to make you beat the market long term? You need to start having a think on usually risk to reward ratio or win rate to bend the property. But yeah, that's true. That's true, Gel. So using risk to reward ratio or win percent can help you measure how powerful your edge is. It could just be always opening trades with a higher risk reward to risk, yes, but that doesn't change your probability of being right. Okay, that now we're leading towards that gambling area, right? Of that guessing is we're just putting a higher risk to reward ratio because we need that in order to balance our account out. We're not doing that because we actually see the chart going there. We're not doing that because the chart's telling us that we're going there. We need an edge that the market is telling us. Imagine your edge is like a little. You remember on was it Microsoft Word or something? You used to. This is years ago. You used to have like the little paperclip helper guy that popped up. That always helped you out when you need something. Does anyone remember the little paperclip face? Imagine you got one of those on your charts. What's he telling you? What's the edge? That whatever your edge is, imagine it's a little paperclip guy that's telling you, hey, there's a high probability chance that this is moving up. In my strategy where I fade in these early mornings, ooh, we've been entered. No. In these strategies where I fade early morning, my edge is knowing the range that the first 4 hours usually goes, right? I understand that there's no volatility. My edge is fading that volatility. I'm looking to fade that volatility. That edge alone gives me higher probability chance of winning these trades. Plus how I manage the trade, even better. Higher probability chance of winning. That's my edge there. So setting risk to reward ratios, yes, it can help in statistically analyzing and performance, but like there's no point in me getting in this trade and being like, yeah, I need a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, so I just go like that. I mean, there's nothing telling me the chart's going to get up here. Why am I looking to get out there? You know what I mean? And I think that's a misconception in a lot of trading areas when people have learned. They've set their targets 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1 just because they want a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio, not because they can actually see the chart getting up there. I've set my target down here because realistically, I know that when we do move a lot, the pullbacks aren't that powerful. The pullbacks aren't usually powerful enough to go do that. So I set my target in here. But so my edge isn't a positive risk to reward ratio. I've got a negative risk to reward ratio on first entry, but I do bring the risk to reward ratio up as the chart goes against me. I've always thought edge referred to the strategy element that increases the win rate. So the edge can be anything. The edge can be anything that increases your probability of winning long term. The edge literally can be anything that it's your edge. Yeah, it's your circle on the roulette table that tilts the odds in your favor. That's what it is. It's your little circle, the casino's edge. They put that little circle on there, so no matter what you bet on the roulette table, if you bet long enough, the house will win. And that's what we need here in trading. Is we go to a casino only we have the ability to make 80% of that board on roulette black. We can make 80% black. So we know if we just bet on black long enough, we'll win. That's exactly what trading is. Following the time frame trend might also be an edge strategy used in its favor. Yeah, so that's a strategy, and you can look at the edge in the strategy, but there's also and that's the beauty of having this conversation, right? Because there's so many ideas of what an edge is. But it's so important that everyone knows exactly what their edge is, because once you know your superpower, right, your edge. I remember Mandy is a big trading coach. She calls it a superpower. Once you know your superpower, you'll be able to be so much more confident in trading that strategy, that edge, that way, that market, that asset, whatever it might be. Would you say edge is almost the same as strategy, or something that helps make your strategy work more? I'd say it's more something that helps your strategy work better. Okay. I wouldn't say a strategy is your edge. depending on what the strategy is. So that's tough question. But in my opinion, I'd lean it towards something that makes your strategy work even more, or that one element that makes you better than everyone else. That one element that is your superpower that you can do, which bends those odds into your favor. Because anyone can get a strategy. I could make a strategy right now, and we could all go and trade that strategy for the next 2 weeks, and we would all have different results. We would. We would all have different results. There will be some other play that just wouldn't work out. We could literally, and we might do that one day, just test it. We could literally come up with a strategy right now, all go trade it. 3 people would come back positive, 2 people will come back break even, and 10 people will come back negative. Yet we all trade the exact same strategy. As an example of bouncing off the trend line, if you had backtested that and knew that 60% of the time the trade won, you would know you'd have an edge. Yes, but what's causing that? What's causing that 60% chance of that happening? You know what I mean? Like, yes, you're correct. You've got odds in your favor based on previous data. Your odds are saying 60% of the time that works, right? But what's causing that to happen? Only if the moon is warning. I have not met Mandy yet. I'm yet to. We've spoken a couple times on LinkedIn and stuff, but I'm still yet to meet her at the moment. Larger ranges occur in favor of the trend, although some traders trade counter trend and be successful as well. Exactly. So they've got an edge. They've got an understanding of where the trend stops or where the trend breaks, and something that gives them that edge. So I want you to start thinking about that, the edge. It's an interesting, because there's no wrong answers, right? There's no wrong answers in what an edge is. But I want you to break the idea that your edge is your indicator, or your edge is anything along those lines, anything that everyone else has access to. Your edge needs to be something that you do that makes you seriously good at trading. What is your superpower? What is your standout edge that not many other people can manage or not many other people can do? And once you start to get grips of what is that superpower and what is that edge, you'll see more consistency in your trading because you'll be more relaxed while you trade through it. That's what I wanted to get to today. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I know it can be a little bit confusing because there are no wrong answers in what an edge is. But an edge, in my opinion, is your superpower, as Mandy said. And if you understand your superpower, then you'll understand how to really remain consistent. Because as I can't remember who it was, but someone said earlier, the more you bet, the more you win. So I wanted to touch on that today. And then, because we've been chatting a lot anyway, I also wanted to chat on the Aussie dollar. So did anyone have any more questions on Edge or anything they wanted to mention on Edge before I swap over to chatting about the Aussie dollar? My superpower seems to be holding on to losers and getting out of winners early with uncanny accuracy. A good superpower. Good superpower. But see, if you're noticing it's a negative edge, right? It's a negative edge, but you're noticing something in there. See, we're in, boys. Boys and girls, we're in. Oh, spreads didn't fill me. The spreads didn't fill me. The Nikkei. Nah, it's not moving enough yet. Spreads didn't fill me. So we got down there, but I didn't get filled by the buy. My edge is this live chat. Good answer. Identifying in the final stage of a pullback to try and catch the trend beginning again. Spreads didn't fill me, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it'll probably come back down in a way. We'll see, because that is quite a strong bounce. We'll see. And we've got 15 minutes until the Nikkei opens up and the New Zealand Stock Exchange opens up. I believe the New Zealand Stock Exchange opens up then at the time. So we'll see. We'll see if that can fill us. Anyway, let's talk about the Aussie dollar. I wanna keep chatting. Okay, I wanna keep being interactive and chatting about this. Fun things I've noticed. Some funny things I've noticed in the Aussie dollar. Wage price index still showing growth. Negative, like not as much as what we forecasted. It's remained the same, but we are still seeing 0.7% growth in wage price. Not bad, right? Not bad. Then our unemployment rate is just hit. Our unemployment rate has just hit a 44-year low. A 44-year low. We have just got down to 3.4%. Okay? Remarkable. 3.4% is the unemployment rate. Outstanding. At the same time of us hitting the all-time unemployment rate low, right? Sorry, not all-time, but 44-year unemployment rate low, we have hit the 11-year high of people quitting their jobs. So think about that for a moment. Wage prices are still in a solid trend going up. Unemployment rate has hit a 44-year low. Yet people quitting their jobs is at an 11-year high. What's going on there? What's going on there? So I want to start drawing conclusions. I want stupid answers. I want anyone out here to try and think, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? Ask yourself that. You've got three factors. Your wage prices, they're going up. They're going up steadily and they're going up well. Ignore the red, okay? 0.7% increase in wage prices is good, okay? The wage prices are going up. The unemployment rate is at an all-time low. Sorry, a 44-year low. And then the data of people quitting their jobs is at an 11-year high. What goes on there? I work around 10 to 12 hours a day, and I tried to trade while I worked, and I was not doing very good, or didn't trade so much, but I recently switched only to trade the Asian session. Awesome, Stephen. Good to know. Yeah, stay focused on where you can. Filter your strategy into the time you can allocate to trading. If they are quitting and unemployment is low, then they're changing jobs for hopefully better ones. Okay. Okay. I hear you. I'm really upset that we didn't get filled on this position, but if they're quitting and unemployment is low, then they're just changing jobs for better ones. What does that mean? I like where your head's at, but what does that mean? Anyone else got any other theories? Wage prices are going up. Unemployment rate is at a 44-year low. But people quitting their jobs is at an 11-year high. Australian dollar. What clues should we be grabbing from this? What is this telling us? Let's start drawing some conversations. Let's imagine we've got a whiteboard up behind me and we're all just brainstorming. We're in a team meeting and we're brainstorming. People are retiring, maybe, but for 0.1% of the whole population to retire, I'm not sure that'll be a lot of people retiring, but potentially. I think with the unemployment rate, it means obviously more people have been employed. Yeah, it's unlikely, but it's a good answer. It got me thinking. It did get me thinking. So they've become traders. Yeah, they're all self-employed. Everyone's become self-employed. Good answer. So on your topic, Joel, they're quitting and unemployment is low. They're changing jobs, right? Whether better for worse doesn't really matter. Okay, they're changing jobs, which tells us what? It could be like in the US where unemployment doesn't count those who have been unemployed so long as they're no longer receiving unemployment benefits, fell off the radar. Yeah, yeah, it could be. Folks seeing a different way of life. It's a movement happening here in the US. Well, okay, so we're getting a lot of job changes. Tell you about seasonal tendencies. Do you have like 2 hours? I might touch on this if we get time because I don't have too much time left on there, but it might be a next week conversation. Folks seeing a different way of life. It's happening here in the US as well. But think about many jobs are being replaced by automation. Yeah, but unemployment rates coming down, right? More and more people are getting employed. So start thinking, okay, also employers have to pay more due to shortage of workers. Okay, like it, maybe. Economy seems so strong it can absorb all the employment. Here in the US, a lot of people doing Instacart and working for themselves. Okay, good thinking. All right. Now, we just thought about that as usual people. We just thought about that as normal people, right? Okay, fair enough. That's how our brains worked, how we were taught. Now let's think about that as a trader. Think about that as a trader. What is this indicating and where can we make money from this data? That's where I want you to be. That's where I want you to be thinking. What is this indicating and where can it mean? Where can we make money from it? It means they're jobs created by the public sector. Only guessing, but I believe that's what they're doing. Maybe. And private sector. I've got my idea. I've got my idea, right? I'm just holding off sharing it yet because I want to get you guys thinking. I want to get you guys, your brains moving and thinking. People previously needing to work multiple jobs are going back to one, but unemployment rate's down. But you could be right. If they're working 2 or 3 jobs, they quit 2 and they go to that one. That could be right. Ooh, okay. Okay, we're starting to move. So we've pulled together a load of ideas. Remember, there's no wrong or right answer here. Okay, there's no wrong or right answer. So just guess, splurt, say whatever it is. But we've come to the many conclusions on what that could mean. And once we get the one that we really like, and we're like, yeah, I think that's the right one. How do we turn it into a money making opportunity? You see where we're leading with this? Now, Joel, you said currency is getting stronger in those countries. Why? Why is the currency getting stronger with this data? We've got a miscorrelation here. Fox seasonality would be an interesting topic for another stream. I think you meant Forex, but yeah, I think I'll run through that next week, maybe. Doesn't tend to change all that much. Like you get a little bit of volatility here and there, but compared to what you see in like equities markets, you don't get a whole lot of change, other than like 2 to 3 weeks over Christmas. So your currency is getting stronger in those countries. So we're talking Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar is getting stronger. Why is the Aussie dollar getting stronger? So here's the conclusion I thought about. And I could well and truly be wrong. Just because I'm the one sitting on the camera, do not assume that I am right. Okay? There are a lot of jobs available. A lot of jobs available in Australia right now. Okay? The Aussie dollar is showing that. Employment rates coming down to an all-time low. People are quitting their jobs, and like Jal said, I believe they're quitting it and moving to something better. Which means there's availability in jobs. There's a lot of jobs going. All right, there's a lot of places short-staffed. There's a lot of people wherever it might be. More people have more buying power with better wages, which gets the economy stronger and therefore stronger currency. Round of applause. More people have more buying power. Change that. More people, more businesses. More businesses have more buying power to be able to pay better wages. Okay? Because our wage growth is still going up. So more businesses have more buying power to pay better wages. therefore attracting other people who are already employed to quit their jobs and move over. Now, the only way that that business has more buying power is if it is performing, right? Because a business that's going under isn't going to all of a sudden start paying more in wages. Businesses that perform are able to pay more and employ more, which is giving us a really key indication that businesses right now in Australia, they're doing pretty well because we're able to pay more. We're keeping up with wage growth. Actually, we're beating wage growth expectations, like not forecasts, expectations, right? We're up 0.7% consecutively over like the past 3 months. Our unemployment rate is down to an all-time low, which means there's lots not an all-time low, a 44-year low, which means there's lots of jobs available. And people are quitting their jobs, which means they're moving. So there is a lot of supply of jobs right now that's not meeting demand. And the way you can tell that is because the unemployment rate's coming down. You know, people have options. People are quitting and going to another job. People are they're doing whatever they need to do to make more money, where they can actually get better money, which tells us businesses, the bigger businesses that are doing well, are doing really well. They're doing really well. Now, there's going to be the smaller businesses that everyone's quitting from that probably aren't doing too hot. But in terms of the bigger ones, the ones that are really driving the economy, they've got some good business conditions right now, which then can give us insight into manufacturing PMI, services PMI, all of this different data that's going to come through. Okay, all of this data that's expected to be released over the next couple of weeks for the Aussie dollar. We now have a bias, right? We're expecting these data to be pretty good because there's no way businesses, if all the businesses were doing bad, I think the services PMI, businesses will have more buying power because they have more money. They have more money, it means their business is performing well. Okay. So as we're getting all this money come back into these businesses and then therefore going back to staff or hiring more staff, we need to understand that I think 60% of Australia's jobs and stuff is in services. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's around the 60%. For the services PMI index, if we're getting an all-time employment rate down low, let's have a look at the services PMI. What I want you to start doing is just drawing these conclusions. Have we been filled? Still haven't been filled. We're sitting around here, but we haven't been filled yet. We're close. It's just spreads, not filling me right now, but we're close. Where was I? Where is construction index, services index here? That came out Friday the 5th of August, which means the next time we're going to get it. Where are we? Construction, services index right here. So you can see we're slowly, we dipped in through June and July and we've come back out in August. Anything above 50 is positive. Anything above 50 is positive. Now, if we're getting this unemployment rates at a decent level, even though we're at an all-time 11-year high of people quitting their jobs, everyone's still employed and everyone's still doing well. And we're getting wage price increases as well of 0.7% consecutively. There's a good chance that all of our services, including manufacturing services, are going to show, where is our manufacturing index? Are going to show some positive expectancy. Okay, so now ahead of these, don't forget to hit the like button to support me. Thanks. Now, ahead of these, the manufacturing index and the service index, we have incentive bias behind that, right? We've got a bit of an idea behind that. I've said for plenty of time, I'm bullish Aussie dollar, okay? So this now, over the next month, I'm looking, okay, I like where the data's at. It's telling me that businesses are doing well. Therefore, I'm expecting these indices to come out and them to be positive. They might not be massively positive. They're not going to move 300 pips when they do come out positive, but I do believe it's going to be positive. Now, if everyone's earning more money and more people are employed, guess what? they're going to be spending more money too. Retail sales data is probably going to go up. If you have more people employed and making more money, they're going to shop. They're going to spend. Even though inflation's hitting high levels, I I think retail sales still might produce some good data. So all of a sudden, I've got this positive attitude on the Aussie dollar. So now I've got this bias that I can head over. Oh, we've been filled, surely. Yeah, we're filled. Okay, we're in. Now I've got this positive bias that over the next month, if I'm looking at swing trading or even trading out on the 1 hour chart, I'm going to be looking to go long Aussie dollar. Now, keep this in mind. That's just Aussie dollar based. US dollar is extremely strong right now. Don't try trade against the US dollar. That's my personal opinion. Not advice, but personal opinion. I'm not trading against the US dollar. This very strong. Aussie dollar has been very, very strong, looking very good, and the US dollar's stumped it, right? Look at something like the trading it against the pound or trading it against the euro. Over the next month, I'm going to start looking, okay, if I'm trading the 1 hour chart, I'm looking bullish Aussie dollar. I want this to come down. So I'm going to be looking at areas to maybe comes down, pull back, come down, pull back, come down, pull back. And I'm going to look to sell on these pullbacks. So I've got that bias just from dissecting some of the data. Now that I might be wrong. I might well and truly be wrong. Okay. So don't, worry or use that and only short Aussie dollar or buy Aussie dollar, because I might be wrong. But what I wanted to do is kind of incentivize you to think bigger. I asked a couple questions and you thought like pupils, right? And that's what we do. That's how we think. I asked you a couple questions and you were like, yeah, this, it probably means this. And then that was it. And that's how most people think. They get a bit of data, they get a bit of this, they go, yeah, that's what that means. They go sit down, they drink their tea, and they forget about it. But we're traders. If we get data like that, we got to stop thinking that, yeah, that is what it is. It goes, no. How do we make money from it? Start thinking that way. We get this data, we get this data, we get this data. Let's turn it. Let's make some money. And that's what I wanted to get you aligned with. That's how I wanted you thinking. I wanted you to stop and go, okay, where can we make money from this situation? With every little piece of data you're given, every little piece of information, any chart movements, whatever it might be, you always got to think, okay, where's the money making opportunity? And that's what I wanted to exercise today. And I hope I managed to do that without being too confusing. I hope I managed to get you thinking along those lines and maybe did some eye-opening activities for you today. We were very interactive. Today's gone quick. But that's what I wanted to share with you. Whoa, I've spoken a lot over the past hour. How are we feeling, guys? How are we doing? Trade's moving well early on here. Now, whoever was trading Japanese yen, Euro Japanese yen, you needed a negative bounce from the Nikkei when we opened up. We have had a positive open. Nothing amazing, but a positive open nonetheless. So I'm assuming Euro Japanese yen charts gone up. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, so whoever it was, you loved it, Carlos. I'm glad you loved it, mate. I appreciate it. So as I said, whoever it was that was shorting Euro Japanese yen, you were gonna need a negative. Was it you, Tinnis? You were gonna need a negative. Oh my god, I can't spell. Oh, really? Can't spell. A negative Nikkei open. That's kind of where you get really the push in the early Japanese yen sessions, and as you can see, we've gapped up a fair bit. So there is a bit of buying power in there. We might still come down. It's not a convincing open. I mean, that doji candle is definitely not how you want to start opening a stock market. So this might come down. Might just try to fill that gap a little bit. So keep an eye on that. it might come back in your way, but unsurprisingly, when this does move up or down in a strong push, it usually relates in the Japanese yen pair. How are we looking here? I just can't type today. I really can't. Yeah. Oh. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. From my point of view, and more important from the economic data, people are worse wages because of inflation. People are on better wages, everything else just costs more. So the data for wages is still going to go up because technically they are still earning more money than what they were before. It's just everything else costs more because of inflation. But yes, you are correct. I reckon it will push up to 138 before reversing. Euro Japanese yen. 138. You're up here. We reckon you're gonna fill this area, all of it. We got halfway through it. You reckon you want to fill all that area? Fair enough. Fair enough. Fill the imbalance? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why you were looking. I just don't see any strength in the euro, to be honest. I don't see any strength in the euro. Should I be concerned when I'm capable of pooping fresh and thick mayonnaise? Asking for a friend. That's a very graphic question. I mean, you got your 2 seconds of. I read it out for you. I guess you're happy, right? Yeah, you trade on the 1 hour. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I just got no bearish. I got no bullish bias on the euro. I'm just not overly convinced in what the euro can do for me. How far have we moved? I think I'm happy to scale in. I think I'm happy to look for a scale in opportunity. I'm not convinced in this bearish move. Is it happening in just New Zealand? Kind of I like the idea of getting in again here. Like the idea of scaling into this. Yep. Added another position. We're moving too much for my liking, which has given me incentive to fade it. A little bit worried about how much we moved yesterday and getting under these lows. We are hitting an area of resistance, however, so we'll see. I'm not going to scale in a third time. It does have a bit of oomph behind this move, which I prefer to not be exposed to. I don't want to be too exposed to a position like this, but I am happy to hold this on a little bit longer. 0.62546 is the current take profit. If we get up to this black line, I'll probably look to get out. Realistically, if we get up to this black area here, I'll look to get out. Where's your Euro Japanese yen pair looking? Yeah. Yeah, so that's predominantly based off of the I can't today, eh? It's not my day. I've just got to pick the wrong one as well. Oh, honestly, I might need another coffee. Just one of those days. Give you guys good graphics of where I'm sitting at on today. Can't. Look at something like this. They're going to be my max position. So I'm risking 0.66. Actually, no, less. I'm risking 0.4 at 40% of my usual R, I believe. 633. Yeah, I'm risking. Oh no, a little bit over. I'm risking about half an R, half an R. So I'm not full risk in this position. I'm not gonna go full risk. It is moving quite aggressively, which I don't love. Leads me to think I might be missing something. Out there that's. How many coffees? Usually just the one. I'm not a strong one either. Usually just the one coffee and not a strong one. I'm not I'm not addicted to my coffees. I don't smash them. But there are some days, especially days where I've got a lot of work to get through, where my body's just not working. So I'm like, all right, let's pop another coffee. No, I get all antsy if I have too much coffee. Using mushroom coffee. Mushroom coffee. Yeah, no, I get all like shaky and anxiety goes through the roof if I have too much coffee. So I usually frame only keep the one and not too strong. But on days where I kind of need to get stuff done, I'll look to maybe have a second. Never have a third. I wouldn't be able to. No, I'd never have a third. See if this bounced back up before I call it a day. We have gone a little bit over time, but that's okay. See where we can go here. I like it and I don't like it. I love that we've moved this aggressively. Okay, I love that we've moved this aggressively. We've moved 24 pips. It's a little bit out of the ordinary. It's providing a pretty good fading opportunity. Okay, it's very out of the ordinary, realistically. Get this type of moves before like midday. I'm hoping it's falling something like this. You can see it happened on the 16th of August. Push down that only went 20 pips and then we had a pullback right the way in. But we don't usually get these big aggressive moves. Now, what I'm worried about is something like this, but that still wasn't till midday. So I'm looking for something similar to this. We have moved a little bit further than that and a little bit more aggressively. But so on one side, I'm like, yes, we are well out of our comfort zone right now. This is providing a great little fading opportunity. On the other side, I'm like, wow, there was some really good news coming out of the US dollar. People might still be pumping into that and pushing it down. So kind of sitting on a 50-50, which why I'm not adding any more positions. But we'll see. As Mr. Powell, or the Powell? The actual calculations for inflation is not valid. In Europe, the real inflation make in the last 20 years that has €1, around 30% of buying power. Hmm. Yeah, but it doesn't matter whether it's actually valid or it's actually not valid, right? We're not running the economy here. All we care about is how it affects the prices. Because how it affects the prices is how we trade, right? That's where we make our money. Like I agree with you, but it's kind of irrelevant into what we do. All we matter is what's going to move the chart and where can we make money in it. That's what matters to us, right? As traders, that's our job. Now, if you're an investor or something, sure, it accounts to that, but it only accounts to that if everyone else also realizes that at some point. Because there's no point back in that, because you're right, but there's no point back in it because it's not going to move the currencies unless everyone else also backs it. Kaku, yes. Yeah, these are my entry points up the top here before moving down here. I'm not adding. I usually add another position around here, but I'm not going to just because I love that it's moved so aggressively. We've got 25 pips early on here, but I am a little bit worried at how strong the US dollar is at the moment. So I'm not looking to add any more positions. I'm just going to stick with what we got here. Just shorted the move on Aussie dollar US dollar. Was happy with that one. Made 3R. Lovely. That's good to hear. Aussie dollar US dollar. Short it in there. Lovely. How's the ASX opening up, actually? It's going to be delayed, isn't it? Okay. Interesting. They're running in correlation with each other. Aussie dollar and New Zealand's running. See the difference? So usually, what's Aussie dollar Japanese yen doing? You see the difference here? Aussie dollar against the New Zealand dollar, against the Japanese yen, it's moving up. Moving up. Like the stock market's coming down, the money's going into. Can I know what platform you make? You live other than oh yeah, I'm on YouTube as well, Calcoon. Sorry. So you can see as we're pushing up, that usually the stock market drop, you get buying power into the currency, right? Because you're selling shares for the currency that you're receiving. And on most pairs, that's happening, apart from against the US dollar. The US dollar is just so strong right now. No one wants to short it, apart from me. I want to short it. I want to short the US dollar, apparently. That's why I'm not adding another position, because it is proving to be quite strong. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how it unfolds throughout the day. I'm leaning towards maybe something like this. If we get up in this area, I might look to take out that second position and just reduce risk overall. I'm not overly confident in this setup anymore, but I'm happy to hold on. I'm happy to hold on a little bit longer. If we get down like around here, I'm just going to cut my losses early. There's no point waiting around until I get fully stopped out. I might as well cut those losses. But it all depends on how these charts are going to move here, because we're going to close with a little doji candle. If we can get a push back up around this level, even better. If we do start to push up, realistically, I can see it coming up to this level, which I can get out in profits, which I would ideally like to do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Which it's funny. It's funny because if I'm leaning towards that happening, right? I'm leaning towards us having a bit of a bounce back up this area. If that does happen, it means my third entry point right now would have been perfect. But just given the volatility and the volume in these moves, yeah, not sure. You're right, our job is to trade, but it's important to have clear principles on the off. Yes, I 100% agree. 100% agree, Blue Trader. 100% agree. It's good to have clear principles and fundamental bias. It is. But in terms of like reviewing data and then saying, whether or not that is the actual data, that doesn't really relate to us very much, right? Because we're just going to get hot-headed and frustrated that they're not releasing the actual data. All we need to do is trade based off of the actual data. And if we can build biases like we did with that Aussie dollar, if we could build biases on maybe pre-predicting that Aussie dollar, like the services PMI and the manufacturing PSI coming out next month, like I've got bullish bias, so on. Now, I'm going to need more data as we get closer, but realistically, I can see these being, maybe above 52, maybe even up 53 on those indices. And if they do get up there, then the Aussie dollar is going to show strength. Once again, not going to trade that against the US dollar because you can see how strong the US dollar is at the moment. But if we trade it against something neutral like the Japanese yen, or even something negative like the pound, the euro, we may find some great money making opportunities in there. So I'm agreeing with you, and you are right, but also disagreeing with you at the same time. Not disagreeing, but turning to try turn it into a money making opportunity. Anyway, I've gone 20 minutes over time today. We got a little bit carried away, so I'm going to end the stream now. I hope you all enjoyed this. I know it's been very heavy in chatting and very interactive topics, which I think is actually more beneficial for everyone, if you ask me. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope I was clear and concise in what I was trying to say. I got a feeling there might be some points where I wasn't, but apologies for that if I did confuse anyone. You know the drill. This weekend, get away from the charts, go spend some time with your friends, with your family, whoever it might be. Reset, come back on Sunday or Monday and dive back in, and I wish you all the best for the trading week ahead. All right. Good luck, guys. Wish you the best, and I'll keep everyone updated in the Discord on what I do with this trade. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy.